Hello, hello, hello from the DR. Thank you for joining me. If you have been waiting, I'm so glad you guys are here watching. So last week we took a break because of Easter, so I hope everyone had a really good Easter holiday for those that celebrate. So thanks for joining me on this live stream. I'm really excited because I am in the DR on a project. The show that I normally work in New Jersey / New York, we came down to do an episode and a few scenes from other episodes down here. And so I have never done that before where I've like traveled with the show internationally. I've gone to different cities in the US, but I have not been anywhere internationally shooting. So this is like pretty exciting for me to talk about. Like I've learned so much, and we've only done prep because our first day of shooting is Sunday. So yes, so if you are here with me, give me a hello in the chat. I'm happy for you guys to join me. Hey Ruben, hey Michael. Oh hey, what's Michael? He's one of my trainees. Oh, what's going on? So happy that you guys are joining me. Oh my God, this is really exciting. Let me know if you guys have any questions when I'm talking about all this stuff. It's really going to be really, really casual because it's just like things I've just learned in the last few days. So, it's ask all the questions you want about whatever. And of course, any questions you have about the film industry, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Got my coffee, I got my water, I am ready to go. And as you can see, yes, the background is different because I'm in my room right now. If you guys saw my video on my Instagram, I showed you the room, I showed you the airport, which I thought was... The Dominican Republic airport is utterly amazing to me because, like, I'm on the plane and I saw, like, it looked like huts, like the way like villas and huts, and like the roof looked like as if it was like those like villas in the middle of the ocean, like at Bora Bora or something like that. So like I'm off the plane, I'm like, where do I go? And it was like downpouring rain since I got here, but then yesterday was our first nice day. So a couple crew members, like the director and the key second, the first was supposed to be here, but we'll talk about that later why he wasn't here. A couple of people, and the director of photography traveled over a few days earlier to kind of like have meetings to discuss everything, take a look around because the resort, because no one had been here. We are shooting at a resort, so everything kind of is exclusively shot on this resort in the DR. And there are some other things that are shot, like only a couple things that are shot like off the resort. So we're all staying here except for a couple folks next door at another resort. So I find it to be really, really lucky that I'm here in this very expensive resort that's like super luxurious and very expensive when you look up the prices. I looked up the prices, I almost fell to the floor because I was like, oh my God, these rooms that we have, and I'm sure they probably got at a discount or something, because there's so many of us that are going to occupy these rooms, right? So, oh my God. Going back to the airport, I totally got off topic, but going back to the airport, like, it's torrential downpouring, like, and it was doing that all day the first day, but they have, like, little, like, openings in the airport where you can see the water coming down, and I don't know, take a look at my Instagram, Beyond Film School, look at my Instagram story, and I was just, like, totally blown away by the airport. I just love how everything is different around the world. So... just getting into a little bit of like my experience as a new DGA member, Directors Guild of America. I like these like, sorry, I like to approve the Michael's next comment. So because I'm a new DGA member, and I'll backtrack a couple months because a couple months ago when the show first started, it was known that we were going to be doing a couple weeks in the DR, right? And at the time, I wasn't approved or even considered to go. And I told them, hey, I'm happy to go. I'm happy not to go. So either way, I thought this was a win-win. I was like, 3 weeks off, great. Going to the DR, great. So either way, I was very, very happy to, just be on the show. And either way, I was like, fine. I'll be happy with whatever decision they decide to go with if I'm going to come or not, right? So then a couple weeks into the show, I am the base camp AD, so like I'm very close to the cast. I'm very close to hair, makeup, and wardrobe. And the desire or like the need of me being there, making sure that someone who had worked with them for the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks or a month. I think we did 5 weeks before we came down here. It was important to kind of have some type of consistency throughout. So the fact that I would be there with them outside of the first and second would just help the process along and help everyone transition over here. So then it became, okay, Amber definitely needs to go. So I was like, oh, great. Oh my God. But I also was very much looking forward to 3 weeks off, not gonna lie. So that is definitely another thing. But I want to say I was excited, but I also was like, oh my God, this is going to be hard. It's going to be tough because the one thing you have to know is when you do travel from the US to a different country, when you're on DGA contracts or union contracts, is that the contract for distant hire is a 6-day work week. So they can work you up to 6 days, right? And your contract will involve 6 days of work, and there's no like added premium. So what I mean by that is if you work a 6-day in the US, you're gonna get paid time and a half, or some unions I think do double time, and on that 6th day. So they don't really want to work people on 6 days because everyone gets time and a half and like all this crazy pay for that extra day of work. But down here, our contract is included with 6 days of work. So I was like, oh man, having 1 day off is really gonna suck. Oh man, it's like, it sort of, to me, gave me like that PTSD of when I worked in Atlanta when we were doing 6-day. Oh my God, Curiel's here. Hi, Curiel. So it almost felt like working in Atlanta where I did 6-day work weeks. It was very hot and sweaty the entire time because I shot it in the summer. And then we did French hours and we never broke for lunch. So we didn't really stick to the 10-hour rule. We were shooting 12, 13, 14-hour days with no lunch break, and it was like absolutely killing me. So I feel like when I thought about this show, coming down here doing 6-day work weeks and how long our days have been, I've been doing 14-hour days every day. We have a cap. Because it's a universal show, and we can only work to 14 hours. After 14 hours, you have to go home. There's no like if and buts about it, whatever. Sometimes I say a few minutes after because like my contract with the DGA, like I don't get paid hourly, I get paid a day rate. So it doesn't matter how little or how more I work, it doesn't matter. So I just sometimes stay a little after, kind of like just to make sure some things are like ironed out, because sometimes when I leave, it's not the most opportune time at the 14-hour mark for me. So I know down here, I'm going to be working a lot. So that was like my major fear. So some of the things I've noticed so far, and I know a lot of people are like, what is it like? How does it work logistically, blah, blah, blah. So while we were shooting in the US, there was already a team down here compiling all the stuff and doing pre-production down here, like hiring the crew, talking to the resort, getting the contracts in order, and finding that kind of like that location for a couple of the spots that are off the resort. So they were, working all those things out. And I feel like a lot of those things should have been sorted sooner than when we got here, because I know that some things weren't sorted when I got here, and I was kind of like, why hasn't this been resolved or solved or whatever? And I was kind of just confused, like there's so many people working in this office, and I kind of was just confused at like, why isn't anything kind of like ironed out yet? But I feel like, not to talk shit about my show, but I feel like overall things just keep changing because rewrites keep happening, and when that happens, I know the creators are like, we want to make the best show possible, but rewrites are just hard on the whole crew, especially when the schedule keeps changing. And that's the major thing for my department. AD department is the schedule. If we don't have a schedule out, it's like how do we put a plan together if the schedule is not concrete? And even last night we had a production meeting, and like things even changed then, and we're shooting Sunday. So a lot of things just keep changing. And let me tell you about that production meeting last night. And Kirill, he'll probably get like a real big kick out of this, because Kirill works on my show. So like hit up Kirill in the chat, harass him, ask him all kinds of questions. Kirill, he's a set PA, but he's also a production coordinator, and like he's also an AD that I throw work to whenever I can, because he's really, really great at what he does. So just to give a little shout out to Kirill, because he's watching this, and I adore him. But so they just this meeting that they had last night was like almost 3 hours long, a production meeting. And I'm like texting the other AD that came down from New York with me. And I'm like, are production meetings usually this long? Because I don't recall production meetings being this long. And he was like, no, most of them last like a half hour to 60 minutes. And this was a 3-hour meeting. And I just felt like, wow, like this is unbelievable. But And I was talking to the first AD, and I was like, yo, what was going on with that? Why was that meeting so damn long? But he's not down here yet because of passport issues, but he should be here today or tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, because tomorrow's our first day of shooting. So wish everyone luck. Tomorrow my call time is, I think, 5:42, so I'm obviously up very, very early with all of the cast. Whew. So I hope day one is okay. We start with a lot of guys, and if anyone who works in film knows that, like, doing guys' hair and makeup is a lot easier than doing the ladies, because there's the lady, like, hair and makeup is so full on involved, and it's a major undertaking when you have females on set, and that's probably why. No, I'm not even gonna get into like why females are not hired, or hired, not hired, whatever. So, whatever. We'll not talk about that ish. So a couple of other things that I noticed was I think we took about a quarter of the crew from the US, and the amount of money that they paid for the accommodation and for everyone's flight, and obviously our wage is a little bit higher because we are distant hire, then we get per diems. It's like a lot of money to bring people to a distant location internationally or just to another city or another state. So it's just a lot more expensive. And it kind of was like they only brought the people that they needed, that they thought they needed. So I think maybe a quarter of the U.S. crew, and then the rest are local DR folks. And one thing I noticed about the DR people is that they are very, very serious. They're very like, I feel like they take themselves very, very seriously. And I think maybe it's about the first impression that they want to give us, or I don't know what type of, I don't want to say like misconception, or maybe like they're thinking that they might interact with us in a certain way and they're expecting us to be a certain way. There's like weird expectations between the two crews, I feel like. I've noticed it even with my PAs, where I was like, I had to actually, I don't want to say yell at them, but like they kind of screwed up yesterday, and I didn't want to do this, but I was like, hey, in my head, I was like, I don't know how things work in the DR, but like, hey, going forward, we have to do X, Y, Z. I saw the PAs that I have for cast that I'm going to be working with every day, and they're very confident, very attentive, good PAs. I was like, great, they're going to be great. But then there's that weird line, right, where a PA can only be so confident, because when they start making decisions without checking in with the people above them, then it gets kind of like, okay, now you're in dangerous territory, I need you to check in with me first. So it was a whole thing with like hotel keys and security and like making someone work today, which is everyone's day off, and all that stuff. So I was expecting better for some reason, and then they're like, oh, they are just like every other PA who's like entry level everywhere else. I don't know why I was expecting more. I have no idea why. Thing that has been like no solution. So because the US crew is staying at this resort, and the resort is all inclusive, which means food, they are not having separate catering for us. We have to get food from the resort, which makes sense, because why would you spend more money on food when food is available through the place that we're staying, right? On a production standpoint, I'm like, duh, we're not gonna pay extra for food that's that's there. There's some there. So we have to go through the resort, and we have to make sure that we hopefully break in the times that these restaurants are open. But if not, then we have to do room service, and room service here is not that great. Just saying, it's not that great. I ordered it on the first day because I missed I think I missed breakfast and lunch or something, and I was like, I have no idea where to go. So I ordered room service, and it wasn't at all very everything needs a lot of salt. I will say that. Shout out to Taisha, because I had a conversation with her yesterday. She doesn't watch my live streams, but she's one of my set PA, my trainees, and I work with her on the show as well. And she is just obsessed with like spices and salt. And I really was like invoking the spirit of Taisha, being very disappointed that this stuff, it just needs a lot more salt and pepper on everything. So the U.S. crew has to eat through the resort, right? And then the DR crew has a separate catering. So they have their catering on the beach. And the beach, when I was there, it was raining, obviously. So it was like a hot mess on the beach. And there's like tents there. They have the catering truck. They have everything like you would normally see in a U.S. kind of production. But it was kind of weird because the way we have to split, like the DR crew has to go to this holding spot on the beach for their lunch, and they break for an hour. And then the US crew has to go to the resort. So it's going to be a little complicated because everyone's going to be split. But the plus side to that is like the whole DR crew's breaking for an hour. They get a straight hour. There's no like you break, then you do a last man, and you wait for that last person to go through the line. They sit down, then you add a half hour. There's none of that. It's just when we break for lunch, everyone gets an hour. So I kind of like that, so I can do whatever I want for the next hour, which, you know, might not be an hour for me because I have to put cast through touch-ups and hair touch-ups, makeup touch-ups, and maybe they have to change and stuff like that. So that was another big difference. It's like the whole eating situation, which I know a lot of people here are not happy about. So I can't really do, I mean, a lot of people are like complaining about that, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do about this? I mean, I know we all need food, but I'm not going to make a huge deal of it. And plus I have a whole dietary issue where I am gluten-free, I have celiac, so like I can't absolutely eat everything here. So some people who can eat everything are still complaining, and I'm just looking at them like, get over it. Like they have protein and they have vegetables. What else? And they have rice, right? Like what else do we need? You know what I mean? What else do we need? So I'm gonna go to the chat really quick. All right, we got, oh, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So Ruben, public policy film and tax credits in the U.S. and overseas. Please speak to tax credits and incentives on television projects as it pertains to you and work visas. Oh my God, that's very loaded. Listen, I don't know anything about work visas, mainly because I'm a U.S. citizen. I've never had to apply for a work visa, so I cannot really speak to a work visa situation, unfortunately. I am not the person you go to because I don't know about work visas. I know that as far as like, those things go, it's a very lengthy process that like I know that I don't want to deal with. Tax credits and all that, I don't know very much about tax credits because like obviously I'm an AD, and there's a reason why I'm an AD. I don't want to be a producer, and I know that there's a certain amount of money that will come back to production from, you know, the country or the state or the city that we're shooting in, which is great, and that's why you pick certain places because it'll, you know, you get some money off the top at the end of the year, blah, 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 blah. I don't know a lot about that. I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about that. I'm sorry, Ruben, that I can't tell you all these things, but I'm definitely, that's going to be, you know, maybe for someone who can speak about that, I can probably bring them on and we can talk about that stuff. And not to be like, hey, I'm bored by those things, but man, it gets really dense and a lot of like tedious, bogged down information where it's not very live stream friendly, I would say, but I know you're very, very curious, but I'm just not the right person for that. Let's see. We're going to get to Jack. Overtime in 6 days sounds great when you hear the money, but when you're exhausted, I'd literally pay the production to have the day off. Exactly. People get kind of like wrapped into all the money that comes with the 6-day pay, but I'd rather just have the day off. Like I definitely, and that's come from me being a PA and having that 6-day pay where I'm like, yes, I would love time and a half. I would love, you know, like instead of 15, I get $22.50 the entire day, which it's a big deal for PAs. But I'm like, I definitely would just rather have the day off. So like Jack, I definitely agree with you on that. So back to Ruben, worked on a project in the DR on a reality show for the love of money. DR crew was impossible to work with. Really? Oh my God. I'm actually surprised, Ruben. So I mean, that is surprising to me, but I mean, we're not going to have a bashing session because I know that the DR crew here, definitely, they do take themselves very serious, I thought, but I'll find out more tomorrow. But the interaction that I've had with my PAs, like they took my criticism of what they did wrong very with stride, and they didn't like. The one thing with U.S. PAs, and maybe because I'm so close to my PAs in the U.S., is that they like to defend themselves, whereas like the DR crew were like, okay, this happened, this is why it happened, and we won't let it happen again, which I was like, okay, I accept this. So I'm hoping that it's not an overall thing for just all the DR crew that you've worked with, Ruben, but so apparently there's tons of work in the DR, and when I was talking to the ADs here that are from the DR, they just got off a job. Like literally they finished one job, like jumped onto this one, and they're like going right through. Like they have a ton of work here too. So there's like a ton of work everywhere. I would feel like there's just like a lot of stuff shooting all the time. DR had definite issues with our U.S. crew treatment. It was classic hating due to our pay scale, right? Oh, okay, yeah. I feel like there might be this weird animosity, right? And that's probably the word I was looking for earlier when I was talking about this. Like, there might be this weird animosity. I have no idea what these people are paid. I mean, but I'm sure if they found out what the DGA members are paid, like, the amount of money that we get for this, I feel like it's bananas, and that's mainly because I am a new DGA member. Coming from the PA lifestyle and how much I've been paid, you know, that $15 an hour in New York for the past few years, and in New Jersey, it's just like, I've learned to live at that budget for so many years, getting my days in the DGA, and then when you finally get DJ money, you're like, I want to just explode, because I'm like, wow, what am I going to do with all this money now? Because I've learned how to live at such a low budget that it's like, for me, I'm just like shocked at how much money that people get, and like all these things that come on top of your wage, it just accumulates. It's like, oh my God, I finally made it, thank God. But it's really, really shocking, and I have no idea how much money that these folks are being paid down here. And I mean, honestly, it's none of my business if no one wants to share. I don't know how much these PAs are getting paid, and I think it would be rude of me to ask. Even, you know, I'm not even going to go there. It's okay. I can speak on it after I finish my PhD. Dearka just needs a day-to-day to get to know. After a few days, they were good. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like, there is a lot of like, they don't know how to read me yet. They don't know how like my vibe is yet. So I definitely understand that. So a couple other things for the DR. We have a lot of ADs on this job. So we have the first, we have the second, the key second, and then we have, we brought down our New York second. Then there's me, base camp AD, and then there's like another second who is the DR second, and then there's a second from the DR. So there's like six of us. It's a lot of ADs on this job, and I'm like, and there's another one. Right. No, so altogether there's 3 seconds. Right, but on the call sheet, for some reason, he was called a second. But there's a lot of ADs, and I think it's overkill, but I'm just like, great. Great. There's like, everyone's going to do a lot of work together. It's going to be amazing. Trying to remember other things. Oh, yeah, so we still have the 14. I feel like I covered everything, all the things that I've noticed. Yes, by comparison, our pay was 4 times higher, and it was an issue. Holy hell. Oh my, I mean, I feel like if they knew that whenever you were here, they definitely know how much we're paid. But like, would they rather have the production here or not? You know what I mean? But reality TV, I think, is a different pay scale than scripted television. I could be wrong, but I don't, yeah, because I know as far as the DGA is concerned, my rate is different if I do reality TV or commercials. So it depends. And I think most reality TV is like non-union. And Kirill, please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you know that answer. I don't know why. So yeah, we were not allowed to bring any of our PAs, and there were 2 PAs we were gonna bring, but it was only because one of them has property here and they were able to get here, and without us having to pay for their accommodation. So that was kind of like one thing where I was like, oh, we don't have to bring any of our PAs. And I imagine we weren't able to bring our PAs because the PAs here have such a lower rate. And if we brought our PAs here, we'd have to pay them distant hire and give them per diem stuff too. Even though they were like, hey, there's a place for them to stay here or something like that. But there was one, but then he found out that his parents, the property that they have, they like rented it out for the time that we were going to be here. So he wasn't joining us, and it sucks. And another PA was going to be brought here where they were like, oh, we should bring her because one of the cast members like wanted to bring her and because she kind of wants her as her own personal PA, if you guys understand what that means. But that didn't work out because her passport's still in processing. Like, she's applied for her passport like months ago and she still doesn't have it yet. And like every month every couple weeks she gets like another notification like, oh, yeah, your passport, it's gonna come in this time, and then it's gonna come this time, and oh yeah, another couple weeks. So her passport is like, it's still in processing, so she was able to come. So we have none of our PAs here. I'm actually happy that like the other AD came. and so many people were happy to see me here, and I was like, oh my God, I'm very, very happy that people are happy that I'm here. I feel like I'm not going to make that much of a difference in our day. We're still going to go over in times. We're still going to be late. We're still going to have the same situation that we had in New York, so it doesn't matter. I think that's most of like everything that the differences that I see until we start shooting on Sunday. So I definitely will give an update next week. I have no idea what I'll be talking about. But also, yeah, thanks for joining me on a Saturday. I usually do my live streams on Sundays. And it's going to be tough because I know that we have some splits and we have night work. So hopefully next Friday won't be a late day and I won't be sleeping in too hard. But yes, I'll be doing another live stream at 1 o'clock next Saturday. I'm going to stick to Saturdays until I'm back in the US. Check out the chat, see what I'm missing. I don't think I'm missing it. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about the film industry, anything like that, I'm happy to answer before I hop off. I think I covered everything that I had. Oh yeah. So my flight. I have to talk about my flight. I didn't talk about my flight. So this was the first time that I flew anything other than economy. Now, we flew on United, right? And because I'm DGA, we are guaranteed the same type of seat that the director gets, which I think is very, very awesome. And I was in the first row in business class. I was able to skip to like the shorter line in the airport and for security, and I didn't have to wait in like that line very long. And then I got to board first, and then I was in the first row, and I had like room. I had actually got to stretch my legs. I was like very, very just couldn't believe that I had that experience. And I hadn't flown for I think about 3 years because of the pandemic. And the last time I flown was, I believe, was from California in May of 2019. So it's been almost 3 years since I've flown, and I am a lot more calm, and I don't know why. I'm a lot more calm, and my anxiety is a lot lower when it comes to me flying, which I usually hate flying. But it could be because I was very, very tired, and I had slept only like an hour the night before because I had to be up at like 3 in the morning to get to the airport really early. We had a very early flight. So it could be that I was very exhausted, or that maybe in my older age or time away from flights that I'm just not as anxious about flights. I'm very shocked about that too. Oh my God, Andrew's back. Hi, Andrew. I'm happy to have Andrew. One of my lovely, dedicated subscribers. Hope the shoot goes well. Don't work too hard. Oh no. I will be on that beach, and I will be in that pool as much as possible. So don't you worry. Let's see, back to Ruben. Over 80% of professionals working in reality, nonfiction, and documentary television are not union. Yeah, that's what I figured. We did not have health insurance and worked a significant amount of unpaid overtime. That is... Unpaid overtime really pisses me off. So I can't really... I mean, if you work overtime, you should, like, get overtime. But I know reality, they always try and get by on a lot of things. Like, commercials in reality is, like, a weird Wild West scenario. Oh, and it's Robert Anderson. Hey, you were asking me if I was doing a live stream on a couple weeks ago. I think it was the beginning of April. I didn't do a live stream. Gosh, I can't remember why. Oh, I didn't do a live stream because I was editing, and I shot 3 videos the night before, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't need to do a live stream. No one's going to miss me doing a live stream. And then Robert comments and asks if I'm doing a live stream at the moment. I swear to you, Robert, at the moment you sent that comment, I had just decided that I wasn't going to do a live stream because I could not fit it in my schedule. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do the live stream and edit my video and get the video out, because I had missed 2 weeks of videos on my channel, and I felt very disappointed in myself that I was not able to produce a video while I was working full time. Which, you think about that, that's utterly crazy. It's kind of crazy when I'm like, yeah, I can't write shoot and edit a video when I'm working like 70-hour work weeks. How dare you, Amber? How dare you not produce a video? I just felt like kind of disappointed in myself that I missed those 2 weeks. But then like sometimes I get dry of ideas and I get writer's block, but now I have a ton of ideas and I was like, yeah, I can use this time, here without the prep time. Maybe I'll have some free time. I'll write. And I'm like, no, I don't want to write. I'd rather be like doing nothing on the beach or like looking at the ocean. The fact that this place is so relaxing and everything's very, very chill is very distracting for like my work flow, unfortunately. So like the fact that I'm here doing this live stream is like, oh, like utterly amazing. I swear to God. So hi, Kate from Australia. It's Sunday for you. Yeah. What time is it in Australia right now? It's got to be like what? I don't want to say midnight. Is it midnight, Kate, for you? I don't know. Is it? So, wait, so you're a day ahead, and I think that you're like, it's gotta, yeah, I'm gonna be totally wrong with this, like, trying to figure this out in my head. What time is it? So yeah, let me know what time it is. I'm very, very curious. I love that. I love that whole, the timing, the time zones and stuff. I'm entertained by very, very simple things. So, 6-day work week. I'm hoping that I don't die, because I feel like when I look at the schedule and I look at like the changeovers for cast and the logistical things when it comes to like getting the cast from their personal rooms to HMU, which is like not that much of a hike, but it's like, it's like a couple buildings away where it's like a 3-4 minute walk from their personal rooms to HMU. But then they got to go back. They got to go from where they get hair and makeup done. They gotta go back from this crazy castle. I wish I could show you a map. They gotta go from this like crazy castle, and they have to walk all the way back to another building that's next to their rooms, where their dressing rooms are. And then they go from their dressing rooms to wherever we're shooting on this resort, which could be another 3-4 minute walk. Who knows? So, and plus it's really windy here. It's really, really windy here. And that for the hair department is like, no bueno. Like they need some serious effing hairspray. I will tell you that. So okay, so Kate, it is 3:30 in the morning. I'm working late. Oh my goodness. Wait, you're working and you're watching this live stream? God bless you. Thank you, Kate. Okay, does anyone have any questions? I'm gonna sign off. I know this is a very like short live stream. I don't really have that many updates, but I think the things that I shared wasn't that like mind-blowing or like groundbreaking or whatever, but I know that oh yeah, I didn't mention the production office. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyone who is an AD will understand this. I feel like there's an ongoing battle with like the production office and the AD department, because we're like the go-between the crew and the office, and it's a whole thing, right? So the production office and the AD department, I feel like it's always like us versus them, which I know you should not have that mentality, but it's always who's gonna do what, right? So we do not have our paperwork PA here in the DR, and most places do not have a paperwork PA, but because we're bougie as fuck, and New York ADs like having a paperwork PA like no one else in the world does, we are like, oh crap, we have to divide that responsibility among the people who are here, right? So there was this whole debate on who was going to do the production report, the PR. And so now, like I expected, because I've worked in other places, not in New York, like the ADs are going to be doing the production report. So I'm going to be starting it, and then my other New York AD is going to be finishing it, because I told them for sure, I was like, I am not finishing that PR, because I'm not going past my 14 hours to finish the PR and wait for you guys to wrap, because I know for a fact that by the time I pumpkin, like they're not going to be done shooting, so I'm not waiting for that. So I definitely will be prepping the PR, doing all the things in the morning or throughout the day when we get those things, and then he's going to be finishing it. So the PR was one thing, because there was a debate about someone from the U.S. production office was going to be doing it, which I thought was very, very funny. And then like the DR crew kept going back and forth on who was going to do the PR, and they're like, well, we think someone from the office or someone. It was like this weird like who's going to do it type thing. It's like someone just needs to be like, okay, this is who's going to do it, and that was our UPM from the U.S. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to fucking do it. I don't care, like, because it looks like my days are pretty. They're not bad. My day here, I'm hoping that most of my days here are not that bad. So I'm like, I can totally do a PR. And that just means I get a box kit rental for my computer, so I'm happy to do it. And extra like production offices in the DR do not print the call sheets, and they don't print the sides. So it's on the second AD in the DR to print the call sheets and sides. And I was like, how the hell is the second AD going to be doing that? I'm like, the fact that that responsibility is on the AD team is like crazy to me. And obviously, because it's only because I'm not used to it, because I work in New York and the production office in the New York area. Oh, I think mostly in the US, like the production office is going to be the ones who print the sides, you know, our script pages for the day. So I'm kind of just like, wow, that would be something. So it was kind of funny the other day when I was in the production office, I was talking to a couple of my team members, and one of our props people came over and was like, can you print this the most up-to-date one-liner? And we were like, oh, the production office, you know, go across the hall or whatever. Like, we're in this huge ballroom. I'm like, oh, just go across there. And then he was like, oh, well, they just sent me over here. And then that's when I got all the tea on, like, what happens between the production office and the AD team, because they're like, we don't print things. I'm like, but you have the printer next to your tables, which you are calling the production office. If you have access to the printer, that tells me that you're going to be printing shit. So there's this like really weird ongoing debate about who is going to be like printing what. And it's like the office, the DRPO is like bitter that they have to print things. I'm like, what? Okay, your office PAs, what else are you guys doing? Okay, maybe I'm very, very ignorant, and someone can get like, I'm definitely going to cover this in a video because I have not been an office PA, but that video is going to be in the works because I really want to cover that PA position. But until then, and until I find out what actual office PAs do, I'm like, you can't print things for production, so I don't understand why production offices are like bitter. Like, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? I'm just being ignorant because I just don't know what they're doing. Like, I mean, what exactly are you taking care of? Like, I feel like I'm shitting on them as a department, but I'm just like, I honestly just don't know what they do. You know, I know what the big players do, and like some of the things fall on them, but I'm like, honestly, office PAs and like the production secretary, I feel like, isn't that your main thing? Like, that's a huge part of your responsibility, is like distro, right? Like, honestly. Jabari, sorry I'm a little late. Is your volume up? I can hardly hear you, but it might just be my phone. I think no one else, I can turn my volume up. I mean, I've been live streaming for like 37 minutes and no one else has said anything about the volume. So if no one told me that my volume is down, you guys all suck. I'll put it on the people who are listening to me right now. Oh my God. I feel so bad if no one can hear me. Jesus Christ. So yeah, let me know if I think my levels that are showing me in OBS, I'm totally like lovely in the top part of the green. So I feel like my volume is fine. Sorry, Jabari. Sorry, I'm not calling you out or anything, but like I hope it's your phone, because if it's me, whew, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, 8:30 in LA, of course, because I'm in New York time. I'm still in my regular time zone, thankfully, and I have the crazy time zones here. I'll come be your paperwork. Look, listen, Michael, when I had a chance to hire you, like, you know that you're going to be on set with me very, very soon. Whatever my next job is going to be, whatever set I can get you on. Michael, me and Michael have had this ongoing text because I know he just graduated from Full Sail. Not to blow up your spot, but like, congratulations. Obviously, that's a whole undertaking. Congratulations on that. And I think you're coming back to New York, Michael. Have you yet? I'm like, I can never remember because I have a lot going on and I never remember every detail of all my trainees. But like, I think you're coming back to New York, and just like send me a text in WhatsApp, or like send me a text May 7th, because that's when I'll be back in New York. But when you're back in New York, definitely let me know, because like, you're definitely gonna be on set, like 100%. Kirill, but if the PO doesn't print call sheets and sides, then what is there for them to do? That's Kirill, exactly. This is okay. I feel like Kirill knows more than I do because he's worked more in the office than I have. So like, yes, there's someone who can vouch for what I'm saying. If you're not printing stuff, you're not doing distro, like what? Okay, Ruben, you're telling me my volume is down. Andrew's telling me volume has been fine for me. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot. I mean, I will turn my volume up a little bit more. I mean, this is it. I'm going in the yellow now. It makes me uncomfortable that I'm in the yellow. So I have turned it up. I don't want to go any further than that. So yeah, Yeah, thanks for telling me. Well, at least I don't have that echo because I have having echo issues, but I'm also using a different computer. So like this setup, my laptop setup is a little bit like more simplified. Um, so my like the whole issue with the echo, like on my other Mac, I can't figure out the whole echo thing. It really makes me mad. And like every time I open OBS, it goes back to like some crazy default setting that I can't fix. So the struggle is real when you're doing live streams, man. So yeah, that was like one major thing that I was like totally surprised about. I'm like, okay, the PO, what are you doing? If you're not like printing stuff for us, like what exactly are you going to be doing? So yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap it up. If no one has any questions about film, anything else, thank you all for watching. And also like people who are like who know me. I'm used to having live stream like people watching where from like other countries and people who actually don't like know me in person. So like Kirill and Michael, thanks for like watching. I feel so honored. Okay, so I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds. I'm gonna take a drink of water. If no one has any other questions for me about any videos I posted, I think the most recent one I did was the UPM. But oh yeah, the what they don't tell you about being an AD. I had fun making that one. I think the one before that is gosh, I can't remember the videos. Okay, I had the UPM one. I think. Oh god, I have to. I'm not opening YouTube right now. It'll like OBS will just like totally start staggering. My internet's gonna like. But I do have a few other things. I have my fleeces on sale on my website. I know it's about to be summer, but those are limited because I only made a few for my the people who are my trainees. They get those as gifts in my Set PA training classes, but I have extras, so I'm selling them on my website, beyondfilmschool.com. And then I have these lovely little keychains that I made that are like film inspiration. I love them so much. And I have like a very, very small preview of my Set PA kit that I'm putting together, and I'm have all the things. And because I'm on this show, I haven't been able to like take any pictures yet, put my thing together. I have all the pieces. I can't wait to put them together. But my Set PA kit that has all the things that I feel would make your first day or your first job way easier and make you look way more professional. Because I thought about having like all the stuff, and I'm like, when you start as a PA, like sometimes you're just lost in the sauce. Even if you're like you've been through a training program, like just anything that makes you look more professional or more seasoned makes you have a little bit more confidence, and then people trust you more and your job just becomes that much more easier. So Set PA kits are also there. You can visit my store online, beyondfilmschool.com. So I'm very, very excited about that. Yeah, and so I'm also kicking around the idea, and I've gotten this question more and more and more about an assistant director workshop. And I feel like the universe is like forcing me into this. So I definitely have had that thought where I did want to put on an AD workshop. Whether or not it's going to be in person or virtual, I like having in-person classes, but then the in-person classes are a lot more expensive to put on. There's a lot more logistical things and a lot more tangible things I have to pay for. So, and I always like to try and keep the cost low for people who take my classes, as low as I possibly can, to, get good quality, but then like make it worth your time and not make you feel like you're breaking the bank. So I am kicking around the idea of putting together an AD course. This is like infancy. So like, if you have any feedback on that, please, if you're like, yes, I would totally take an AD course, I would totally do it. Yes, let me know. So I am going to wrap it up now. Kate, you're going, okay. You're very excited to be on set with you. Mid-June, I'll be back. Okay, mid-June. I will keep this in my mind, Michael, mid-June. And I'm going to forget. Even though I just said I'm going to keep it in my mind, I'm going to forget. Thank you so much, Michael. I'll start coming to live streams more often. Oh, you don't have to, Michael. Cut it out. You're just flattering me now. Sleep time for me. It's a good night. Kate, thanks for joining me from Australia. Kiri, if you would have to pick one position to work as for the rest of your film career in the AD department, which one would it be? Okay, Kirill. It's going to be a first. It's going to be a first AD. I love being a first AD, and I've done it. Like in the indie world, I've been a first, and like ever since one of my first features that I was on as a camera assistant, and when I saw a first AD do what they do, I was like, I definitely want to be that guy. I want to be that position, and it's always been my goal. And when I left the camera department and got into the AD department, that really was like, I switched gears, I switched departments. Like first AD in the DGA is the long-term goal, and I know I have a number of years before I get there. Even though I've been a first on Indy, like being a DGA first is that position that I want to be. I don't want to be anything else. I'm dreading the key second AD position. I'm dreading that section in my career. I may love it, I don't know, but even though like I'm like, yes, I want to be a second for a few years, but I definitely want to be a first. I want to make that crazy money. And I want to get those royalties that people get when they're first ADs on these projects. I want royalties, okay? That's what we're getting in the game for, okay, Curio? So yeah, first AD, of course. Duh. Like, come on, Curio, you know this. All right, I am going to sign off now. Thank you guys for joining me. I really, really love that you joined me on my live stream. That is it for now, and I shall